Let's get this party started. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Sophie. What are we doing today?
We're gonna change the world.
Oh,
You know that?
so before we get started on business tips for tools for bars practitioners, who are you today? Who are you today? What grand story? No, yeah. Who are you today, Sophie?
Okay, so who I am, I'm Sophie, and I'm a certified state of access consciousness. I've been doing this work for over 6 years now, and I travel the world and facilitate classes on all kind of fun topics. And I'm really excited to be speaking about this because I sure remember that when I started, I had no clue what I was doing, and I wish somebody at the time had actually given me those tips and tricks. So yes, I'm excited to create this for you guys. What about you, Kathy? Who are you?
I'm right there with you, Sophie. 5 years ago when I started Access, I really appreciated the tool of the bars and everything I had learned in the bars class. And I did not know where to get started or really how to get started. And I had a yoga teaching practice for years. I've taught yoga since the year 2000. I had been a coach since 2013, and the one who was like, but
just to let you know,
I really,
a little bit.
Okay, let me get closer to, let's see if we can get closer to the internet.
Yeah,
can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had been a coach, I had been teaching yoga, I had a new baby, and I really appreciated bars, but I didn't know how to get started doing anything. In fact, I even became a bars facilitator and took over a year to get started and really teach a class. So I would like you guys to, and I'm a certified facilitator now and have taught over 12 foundation classes in the last couple of years. So I would really like you guys to not go through that long stretch of blankness and be able to get started and get some momentum and have fun. And that's the main thing, right? Have fun.
Yes. And also, Kathy, when you were doing, what was the difference for you between teaching yoga or talking to people about yoga and talking to people about the bars? What was the difference?
I had lots of points of view. That's the big difference. Ultimately, in my private sessions, I would start to put my hands on their heads. I'd say, can I do at the end, when they're in the relaxation, I've been learning this hands-on thing. Would you like to experience it? And usually they would be happy with that because they trusted me and they'd love it. And then people would start to take bars classes or come for a longer I would say, I do longer sessions. You could have an hour of yoga followed by an hour of bars.
Yeah.
And people started to book sessions from that. And that's not the only way. So if you're not a yoga instructor, don't worry, there are plenty of ways.
Right. And you just said something that I remember doing as well when I started. You said, I do this thing, right? This thing, it's a body process. And for me, as soon as I heard that, it was like, oh, so you're not too sure about it and it's not such a big deal, right? Like, oh, it's just this thing that I do. And we all do that. We all try to make it this, well, it's no big deal. It's this thing that I do. Oh, it's going to change your life. But they don't get that energy that it's going to change your life if you speak about it as this thing that you do, right?
Yes.
Different.
It's very different. So for me, I realize when I'm actually really enthusiastic about it, like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the world. Like I used to be a nutcase and think about things all the time and stop myself all the time. But now I just go and do things because I don't have all this stuff in my head that stops me. When I make it really specific, and when I actually like show them how I use it and how passionate I am about it, that's a whole other ballgame, right?
Right.
It certainly is. Yeah, that the energy that's behind it is so different.
It is so different.
Everything that doesn't allow all of you to be the invitation to allow people to change their lives with these tools that you have. Will you destroy and uncreate that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Ooh, right, wrong, good, bad, all night. Oh, she could be the podpucker when I...
And Sophie,
Yes,
going back to that, a lot of that has to do with people not receiving themselves. So if you're not really able to receive for yourself, so how are you going to create a mega business? So if you're not being able to receive, so that means receiving you as well.
And you're right. And I use a tool at the beginning that is not an access tool. So I'm going to tell you in advance, it's not an access tool, but I use something called fake it till you make it, which I just put on this hat that I knew what I was doing. And I knew that this was the most amazing thing ever. Even if I didn't have, you know, a clientele of 50 people, I just was like, I'm just going to be that. Right. And
Right.
so because I was that energy, I remember from the beginning, people always thought I was an authority. Like they looked at me as I knew what I was talking about. Because I remember my first introduction that I did in a holistic center. I walked in and the woman was like, wow, you it's such an honor to have you here. And I was like, what? It's just because I was the energy of like, I know this thing that changes people's lives, you know, because I was that energy, that's what it created. So even if you have not, even if you only ran your husband's bars, or even if you never charged for the bars, what if you just acted like you were Dane? Like you were Dane walking in your local street and talk to people as, you know, whoever inspires you, if it's Dane or if it's somebody else. What if you started talking about the bars just the way that these people do?
And it's the energy. So all of us can be that energy right now. You know, I'm being that energy of the facilitator. You guys can be that energy right now. I'm a bars practitioner. I can really change people's lives and have that knowing.
Yes. And if you allow that, let's not create this at all.
Yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, putt, puck, all long, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Awesome. Do you guys have specific questions about how to promote your business or talk about your business?
I do, Sophie. Can you give me an example of setting up a system for your business?
Right. So for me, the system actually for the bars, because the bars is not something you can do online. It's something you have to do in person.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the system was who locally, like who can I see in person? Who can I meet in person? And so I had to, this is kind of the sales process. So everywhere you guys have decided you're not a salesperson, you don't want to be a salesperson, and when you think about sales, it makes you want to puke. Will you please destroy it all?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck online shorts, boys, and beyond.
Because you're going to become the salesperson. So the salesperson gathers leads, right? So you're going to gather who are your potential clients, where can you introduce what you do? Like you're going to start gathering that information. Then, so that's the first part of the system. Then you're going to take the step toward reaching out the first time to these people. And by the way, I am currently going through a sales system for another business of mine. And the guy who's training me said, you don't take no for an answer. A no is not, it's just not an answer. Like, we don't care. If it's not now, it'll be in 6 months from now. It doesn't matter. So you don't never say this person is never going to get a bar session. Gary says that one of his friends took 23 years before she took a class with him, right? So what if it was, you talk to somebody because you really know they could really help get the bars, but what if they say no, and then 6 months later, they just broke up with their boyfriend and you're like, oh my gosh, would you like me to now give you the bars? Like maybe they're ready now. Who knows? You know, sometimes people need a drama before they choose change. So the system is to never stop, never quit, never give in, never give up, and to always gather information as to where you could be introducing this, who you could be talking to. There is one of my local bars practitioners, she did this really cool thing. She went on Zazzle. So if you guys don't know what Zazzle is, it's a website where you can create products with anything you want on it. So she created these buttons. They cost like $2 or $3. She created these little buttons and she put on the button, she put, ask me about access bars. Okay, and then she wore that button everywhere she went. And then she was in a restaurant and the waiter was like, what is that? And so she became a client. So just like always gathering information. Where are the people that could be interested in this? That's the first part. She said, yes, Kathy.
And asking the universe, where are the clients? Who else is looking for this?
Yes.
Where else do they desire this? I ask that all the time, and I get texts from random people in various states like, can you come teach a class here? And I'm like, you didn't even give me your name, you know? Yeah. But so ask and you shall receive is a law of the universe. Your only job is to ask. Where are the clients? Who is looking for me? And what would it take to get in touch with them easily, with ease? And then follow that and ask to know what to say to them. You know, follow your awareness, because I've been at a Halloween party and someone asked me, well, what do you do? And I said, I do this really cool stuff that helps with sleep problems. Like, I have sleep problems. When do I ever say it helps with sleep problems?
Yeah.
Only with that guy, you know, and anyone else who needs it, because I'm following my awareness of what to say, not some pre-scripted thing.
That's so true.
Yeah, that is true. I tend to say, I like to look at a great way to start would be with a question. So question even yourself, like, what are the things that you can change about your business that would allow it to actually work for you now? So like another great question is to ask is like, okay, so if you're doing things in your business that you don't want to do, can you ask a question so you don't have to resent it? And what else can you do to create something else so that would not create that resentment with your business and or with your clients?
Yeah, so I want to say something about the parts of your business that you don't want to do. So
yes.
My experience in this is usually those parts that you don't want to do are the parts that are going to create the most change. So that's where you guys resist having everything you've asked for. If you don't want to do it, most likely it's because you have decided somewhere, somehow, that you can't you can't receive what's on the other side of that.
Well, actually, I was saying that while you're already in a business, it's a good idea to always keep into the question. So, like for instance, if let's say that your business is already up and running, and your fees are too cheap. They're just too low, and you energetically know that. So, what's going to eventually happen is that you're worth more, and then a client comes your way, and then you're going to start having that client is here, that one that I charge this amount when I'm really worth this amount, and you're going to start building up that resentment, and then your business not going to be able to receive, and then eventually you're not going to be able to really receive from it.
Yeah.
So
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
I had a client like that. I saw her 3 times a week, and then we went down to 2 times. And this was soon after I had my baby. So I wasn't really working much, but it was really cool to have someone, 3 times a week. And then over time, to me, it became draining. Like, oh, I have to go see this person again.
Yes.
And so I really played with it. What is this? Oh yeah, I'm making much less, like half as much as I often charge. And so, it took some time potting my beliefs. And then I said, listen, I'm really happy to keep working with you. I know that we've seen big changes, and when I started working with you, I was at this point in my business, and now I'm charging this rate. And so I'm happy to continue at this new rate. And she declined, which actually worked better for me. And that week, I got a regular client at the new rate.
Nice.
So the universe stepped in and said, hey, when you choose for you, something even greater will come in. When you say, okay, I'm done with that energy draining thing, something else came in.
That's for sure. Yeah. So the one tip I really wanted to make people aware of is that you already speak to a whole lot of people every day. And you don't necessarily go to the idea that either they could be clients or they may know potential clients for you. So what would it take for you to be in the space of really checking in with people? So instead of like, you have a girlfriend that you see all the time and all she does is talk about her hair and her nails, right? So you're like, well, she's not interested in self-development, so you never bring it up. What if you just say, hey, what's going on in your life? And by asking that question, she then shares how she's having problems with her husband or her mom. And you say, I actually know this thing that can help. If you want, we can try it. Whatever it is that, like Kathy said earlier, is what your awareness tells you to say. But every day you have people around you, even the mailman or the cashiers, everybody you encounter in the streets, there are people you could change their lives if you just check in with them and see what's going on with them.
And if you don't encounter people, if you only drop your kid off at school and then come back home and stay home all day or whatever it is, or you work on the computer all day long, go work on the computer at Starbucks, or go, change it up so that you actually do interact with people. So many people think that their clients are going to come from people that they don't know already. And in fact, a lot of times it's the opposite. People who know and like and trust you already can be inclined to become your clients when you are the invitation, but they have to know that you have that. You can't just keep your mouth shut about bars and expect to get bars clients. I know people who think that if I set up this really great website, people will come. Actually, if you start opening your mouth and asking questions, right? Asking questions about other people's lives, and then being that invitation and saying, oh, wow, I have something that I've helped people with that before. Come lie down. It takes an hour. You don't have to do anything. You stay in your clothes. And it can really change this. I've seen it before. That is much more effective than having a fancy website with all the bells and whistles.
There are 2 facilitators in Sweden who were some of the most prolific facilitators at the time, and they didn't have a website. They just talked to people. They were doing really, really well. So you're right. It has nothing to do with the fancy stuff, but more who you are being. I love that. That's awesome.
I have a question here.
Go ahead, Wendy.
I just I got all the things that you talk about there. Like I'm just thinking in terms of approaching groups of audience or organization or anything like that, do you have any ideas on that? Because like I like to, like I enjoy teaching bars class. I also enjoy running bars. And right now I'm kind of really frustrated with the fact that I myself couldn't even get bars runs on a regular basis where I am. And I put up meetup group and all that, and nobody shows up. Either it's, oh, you're too far or whatever the case may be. And I just sort of like, well, what would it take for me to have bars runs twice a week? And right now I occasionally get bars here and there and all that. So I'm like, okay, what if I teach bars? Then I will have people that I can exchange with. So just want to ask if there are any ideas, suggestions, and whatnot, because today has been a very difficult day. Like I literally just sit around, like my day just went by and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, I can't get myself moving. And it's been really difficult.
You want to start, Kathy, or do you want me to start?
One of the things that really pops is, are you listed on the Access site?
Mm-hmm.
You are. Okay. Because that, to me, running, you know, there was a period during which I ran weekly bar swaps. And anyone who is not familiar or new was able to come in, as well as all those people I had trained, a large number of people, like 200 people I've trained. Anyone on island, you know, knew that this was happening every week. So that even if only one person showed up, you know, there were times when just one person showed up, but it was happening. And if there were 3 of us, then I could sit at the feed or, you know, and we could still all get our bars run. But it was this consistent thing that would happen. And sometimes we had 20 people, you know? So there's that, just putting that up there and making it a regular thing. Do you have an email list?
What do you mean by email list? From people? I just started teaching. I only had 2 bars classes so far, but all the people, it's interesting. The people that I teach, none of them are in my local area. They are like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they came to me to have the bars class, but when they're done, they're not in my area.
What an amazing creator you are to attract people from all over.
In a way, I acknowledge that. And then in a way, it's like, well, why is it that I don't have local people here that I can at least exchange with?
Let me ask you a question. What have you decided about the people that are local to you that is preventing them from seeing you?
There's a lot of energy. That's all I know.
Yeah, everything that is, will you destroy it and create it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, podpoc, shorts, boys, and beyond. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, let's go back to the first question you asked, because I did do something that new. I looked for the groups, and it's actually what you're looking for is a connector. It's somebody who will connect you to a group of people, and those connectors have to have some weight in the community. So if they speak, other people listen. You want to find a connector. So you've got to ask, where are my connectors? And you're going to find that those connectors are random people. So for instance, hairdressers are usually good connectors because they talk a lot, right? Barbers and hairdressers. So if you are willing to go and see a hairdresser or barber and say something like, oh my gosh, I love the energy in your space, even if you don't, and just say something like that, say, you know, I would love, I can tell how much you contribute to the community. I would love to gift you a session. It's an energetic session, and just gift them like 30-minute session, because they're going to like it. They're going to talk about you to everyone. So, and then ask them if you can leave your flyer, right? So that's like, hairdressers and barbers are just fantastic for that. So you've got to look for those people that talk a lot.
and one of my questions about connectors is what would it take to have 40 connectors in my business? And connectors, you know, they can be paid, they can be unpaid, they can be people who have had your sessions, they can be people who haven't even had your sessions, but they know about you. You know, I have some clients I have clients who have come to me because they saw the changes in someone else from a bars class. So I trained, let's say, Maria in bars, and suddenly I have 12 clients coming because they're like, what have you done to Maria? You know, I want some of that. So everything included that clients have to come from a certain action, like meetup, or a certain direction. Will you destroy and uncreate all of that times to Godzilla?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, boys and beyonds.
Wow.
So a lot of that would have to come in with like trying to eliminate the significance from your business, because whatever you do, you don't want to create that business significant, because then you solidify your business into a form of structure defining it, right? So you want to take the significance out of that, because then it doesn't become as fun.
So what have you decided business is that it isn't? And what have you decided business isn't that it is? And everything everything you've aligned and agreed or resisted and reacted to regarding all of that. Will you just and create at all times again?
Yeah.
Wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. We can all have nap time now.
Because even the word business can bring up a lot of heaviness for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people go into like, oh, business is hard. It's going to take too many hours, too much money. Or even if I get it started, you know, it's gonna take 5 years. Or you have to have a business plan, financial projections, all these little sayings or judgments that we've been taught by society kind of keeps us from sort of quantum leaping into the energy of what we can be and what our business can be.
Yeah, are any of those things light?
None of them. No.
Actually, some of them are for me.
Yes, for you. See, so you can play with that too, you know? Okay, what does this word bring up for me? Business, for example. Oh, men in suits.
Mm-hmm.
That is, or wrong, good, bad, all nine, pop, poc, shorts, boys and men. Serious stuff, men in suits. No, not just happy men in suits. And then what does business plan bring up for me? Whoa, everything, you know, I mean, like, get playful about it.
Yeah, like your business could be a playground of possibilities. It doesn't have to be projections and significances and.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So asking for connectors, asking to know what to say, when to say it, or how to be. So for instance, if you just walk by somebody and you drop your barriers, simply lowering your barriers when you walk by somebody, suddenly you're gonna wonder why so many people want to start talking to you. You don't know why, but they just start wanting to talk to you because your barriers are down, and they're like, that person is cool. I don't know why, but that person is cool, and they just start talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why points of views. This is one of my favorite tools from the Rome class that I just did it with Gary and Dane, where every time you let go of a point of view, somebody new can show up in your business, because now you let go of something that was in the way of you and them connecting. So all the points of views that you, like, just Kathy just did that with business, and same with people. Oh, well, you know, mothers, they don't have time, or business people only get sessions at night or weekends, or whatever that is. Like, all these points of views, when you let them go, wow, the amount of people that can now show up is amazing.
Yeah, and also letting go of all the buts in your reality.
You only want one butt.
Yeah.
And maybe someone else in bed. Yeah, so I just lost it. Come back.
And what if we can make a demand for our business or for your business? So you can even like write down a demand list for your business. Say, I would like to have 10 people in my next class, or I would like to have 3 private clients to show up per week.
Actually, I don't find that those work really well. Kathy, they work for you, Kathy?
No, it's much more of a how much consciousness can we create? What can we contribute to the planet? And how much fun can we have? And for me, what would it take to change the entire city of Chicago, you know? And then like the energy starts to, it's not a numbers game. And when it starts to be about numbers and money, it just goes.
Well, not necessarily about numbers, but I think what expectations do you have about what your business should be right now? Is that people often have thoughts about what their business ought to be, and they'll say, I want my business to be big, but they haven't made that demand of what that is.
Right, but Tobias, I think what Kathy was showing you was when you ask the question, how
Yes.
much fun or how much fun or how much consciousness, then you don't necessarily need to have a specific way of having that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. I was just making a point that, so for me, for example, making demands on myself, then being willing to be whatever matches that energy, ask questions as like, what energy can I create for this to come into my reality?
Yeah, what videos could I be making right now?
Yeah. So it's not about, I don't get caught in the how so much. I just play with the energy and even play with that list as the energy and allow the possibilities to emerge. It's not really about numbers. It's just more about playing with those energies, putting them out there, putting the demands out there on me, and just kind of using it as like a little playground, not so much as making it solid.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I've heard Gary say that focusing on the numbers will kill your class.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I really know that that's true. And at the same time, this Zoominar we're doing is more about bars practitioners. In terms of classes, you know, what would it take to have so many butts and seats that we have to change the venue?
Yeah.
Because we need a bigger room.
I actually used to have not like dreams about, not nightmares, but dreams about in the middle of the day having to change venues because too many people showed up. And when I work with clients about building their energetic practice or healing practice, I always say, what if you just ask for a 3 months waiting list where people have to wait 3 months before they can get a session with you, right? Because that's how busy you are. Or you have to find other practitioners because you just can't serve everybody. But that to me is really exciting. Oh, cool. Who would I have to be? If I wanted to have a waiting list, who would I have to be? And in Los Angeles, we have all kind of modalities here, and there are some people that make a lot of money with famous people by doing energetic work with them. And I actually did a bars class with one of them, and it was phenomenal to see how different her energy was from other people that show up in class, because her energy was like, I'm the bomb, and whatever I say or do will change something. And it was just so interesting to watch. Like, no matter what modality she was using, she just knew she would have an impact on people. And I'm like, because a lot of the bars, because we ask so many questions, right? So what I see people do is suddenly turn that into not lack of self-confidence. Oh, well, I'm just going to ask questions. And they don't necessarily choose to use that energy or that authority.
Yes,
so
true.
It's what if you actually became that person, just like Dane, like you have to or like Kathy, you have to double your rate because you're too busy to serve everybody, right? How cool would that be?
And when you're really willing to give up a client, and that's not the best term, but and also refer to others, people actually trust you more. because it's like, oh, wow, she's not trying to keep all the people to herself. She's like, oh, you know what? I think this would be a better match for you. You know, and I've told people, if you're looking for someone less expensive, I've trained lots of people. I'm happy to refer you. And then they're usually like, oh no, actually.
I can find the money. I want you.
Yeah. And so it really is that generosity of spirit and non-grasping. You know, you're not trying to hold everyone to you and accommodate people who don't actually work for you. Yeah. And I think that's huge, because when you're trying to accommodate people who don't work for you, you're trying to bend, fold, staple, and mutilate yourself into something that you're not. And how much fun is that? Not too much fun. I've done it.
Oh so I have a question. When you were saying a few of the questions, like how much consciousness can we create? Like I find that I'm not motivated by money. And right now I'm going through a stage where I'm basically just sitting on my ass and not doing anything. And
is that fun?
This is the interesting part. Like, I mean, I really can sit around and do nothing. And if it is not for this world asking for money, I think I could do that for another 25 years. So the thing is like, okay, money doesn't really motivate me. And like, what kind of questions can I ask that would help me snap out of this?
Well, when you ask, what would it take to get paid to do nothing?
Never asked that.
Yeah. So, because I think what I find is a lot of people find joy in having something to fight or something to get over. So right now you're having joy in getting over the fact that you're doing nothing. But if you give yourself permission to do nothing by receiving everything you could ask for while doing nothing, getting paid, getting fed, getting taken care of while doing nothing, if you just allow yourself to have that, what else would you create? Because then you would have that. So then you will have to create something different.
Interesting. Yeah.
So give yourself permission. Okay, cool. What will it take to get paid to do nothing? And then when you're tired with that, choose something else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Because like right now it's sort of like I'm doing not doing, and then there's another, obviously the shooting somewhere. But then I'm like I noticed that I'm not judging as much as I used to, but I know I still am judging somewhat. So there's that energy of, you know, judging and doing and judging and doing. There was that energy. And I sort of like, well, what can I do that I can get out of this? And I love running bars. I know that. Like, I love running bars. I love teaching bars. I just taught bars class, a small one, and I love it. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe coming to this meeting, I can get some idea and get myself going again.
Look how that lights you up. I mean, if you watch this class again, you'll see it. You're like, whoa, I love this, you know? And so everything that does that and brings that kind of energy, follow it. Even if it means, okay, universe, where else would like to have a bars class? Where else are they looking for me? Putting up flyers, you know, making sure that, what about a Facebook video? Hey everybody, I'm doing this cool thing, you know? And this is just, it really lights me up. And because if people don't know about you, if people don't know what you're doing, you can have the best thing in the world, but no one's going to come. You could be the best author, but if it's still on your computer and not out in the world, it goes nowhere. You could be the best healer in the world, but if no one knows about you, then you're going to be sitting on your butt wishing you had clients, you know? And I'm not just referring to you. It's all of us. and there are people like that. I know some amazing healers who have nobody because they're not, saying, hey, this is what I do. This is really fun. And so would you be willing to do a Facebook video?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I've actually made myself every day at least go on Facebook once to do a video. And interestingly enough, my video is sort of following the theme of drop the shit. So I've been talking about dropping shit on every video. And so I'm making sure that every day at least I do one video.
Nice.
The thing that get me distracted is every time when I go to a very busy site, I get all these noise and everything that I get distracted from it if I stay longer than 3 minutes.
Yeah, how aware are you? Super
It's
aware.
very hard for me to work because I sort of also decided like, okay, if you're not gonna do the bars things, go get a job. So I said, okay, I'm willing to go and get a job. Let me see what happened. And as soon as I went on the site on Workopolis, oh my gosh, all that noise and everything like, oh, nobody wants me. Oh, I can't find a job. Everything I pick up again. And then I'm like, oh gosh, the day's gone again. So like, I acknowledge that I'm aware. It's like, okay, what can I go beyond to get rid of that? I mean, it is a good thing. And it's right now, I don't know how to use it for me.
Wendy, why do you love running bars?
It clears my head. It
And
creates changes.
do you get more into your body when you run bars?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you ask your body what it knows about creating something different, about connecting with people, about having local people here, like right now running your bars? Would you ask your body to bring those people to you?
Oh, didn't know about that.
Yeah, the body actually knows a lot more about how to create what it wants. So the body wants to create money, food, shelter, nice clothes, sex, nice people to run bars. The body wants all of that. So when you ask the body to bring that to it, it will guide you. And it will tell you, go there, go talk to that person. And if you keep don't listen to your head, because your head is going to say, oh, well, that's not going to work. Well, that's a waste of time. Well, don't listen to your head, just listen to your body. If your body wants to go to next door and say hi to a neighbor, go next door and say hi to a neighbor. Even if if you think they're not home, it does not matter. The body knows.
Okay. I will ask that.
Yes.
I will ask that.
And then for those of you, for your businesses, you can talk to the business. Have you all done the energy ball exercise?
Yes.
Okay. That's in foundation. So if you guys haven't done foundation, it's amazing. I can't say enough about foundation. So, so you can sit and get the energy of your business. I like to sense it in front of me as though I'm going to have a conversation with this entity that's right in front of me. But for you, it could be somewhere else. And then you can ask it, okay, what do you require of me today? And then it's like, I live on an island. I live in Hawaii. So one day I got, go surf. And I was like, go surf? Really? And so I went to surf. But your business will tell you that call this person, send this flyer, send this email, go on a hike, whatever it is. And then you can ask it again, like ask it multiple times, because it is an entity. It has consciousness too. And by having a conversation with it, you can receive and you can also contribute in much greater ways. So ask your business, hey business, sorry I haven't talked with you in a while. What would you like to communicate with me today? What do you require today? How much fun can we have today? And really just if you don't hear something, if you don't, you know, all of us receive information in different ways. Some people hear it, some people see it, some people just know it. You know, if you don't receive something right away, sit a little bit longer, because Gary said, you know, so often people will ask a question and then they just move on. Okay. They don't, you know, and so, and also be aware that awareness is quick. So you may have received something and then, you know, just be aware that, oh, there was that thing. Okay, let me have more information about that. I didn't quite get all of it. What else is there? Can you tell me more business? And become its friend, okay? Because it and you, when you do this dynamic dance, can create so much greater than if you're just trying to figure it out with your mind.
One other thing I would like to ask for clarification is, I know everything is an entity, everything has consciousness. So you know how in Access we talk about potency and capacities and all that. Is that also an entity of its own? No.
No, so you're talking about you are the entity, and you as an entity, you have capacities, you have potency, you have abilities and talents and skills. That's you as an entity. Those are not entities separate of you. They're part of you. They're or how you express yourself in the world. Okay.
So that's really cool. It reminds me of the way Elizabeth Gilbert says that they use, you know, she's the author of Big Magic and Eat, Pray, Love. And Blossom did a little conversations in consciousness with the book, Big Magic. She talks about how before the Renaissance, people used to think that genius was actually an entity outside of you. Okay, so it would come and it would gift you with stuff, and then it could stick around or it could leave. Now we recognize you have these brilliant capacities. So it's not an entity outside you. It's yeah. You get the difference?
There is a difference between your capacities and how they manifest in the world. So your ideas, what you're going to do, the business, those are entities that are outside of you that you can interact with, have conversation, or either commune with or have conversations with. But you as a being, you have infinite capacities to create anything you choose to create.
So basically I can just ask, so how do you ask that so that you are using your potency and capacities to the benefit?
Well, what if there was no right or wrong way to use your capacities? You just be you. So what if one day you ask yourself, what would I like to create today? And then you go and say, okay, so what will it take to create that? And what's required to create that? I wouldn't worry too much about the benefit of things, because that's too much judgments attached to things. Just go and have fun. Go be you.
Which has been moping around doing nothing.
Are you really being you?
I would like to add a little thing, because this is something that hit me yesterday. How many of us have decided that it's not necessarily easy or okay to talk about energy or healing or consciousness to people? Like, it's not something that you talk about in everyday conversation. Most people think that, you know, you have to have like the perfect setting to start talking about that. The truth is that's no longer true. When I was working at the university and I quit my job so that I could do Access full time, and I remember people would come and ask me, what are you going to do? And I would say, oh, I'm going to go teach consciousness classes. And they were like, that's cool. Like, no judgment. They were actually interested, because I was like, I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to tell them. And it was amazing. And this was like a really big university. So what if you had no problem talking about the baker or whatever, we're not in Europe, but the mailman about consciousness, or your neighbor about energy work. Like, what if you did not try to make access accessible, but really be you? Like, if you one day you wake up and you're like, my gosh, I had 15 entities in my bed trying to have sex with me last night, and you just want to go and say that to the cashiers, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. You never know that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being silly because I want you guys to get the image, but that's what I'm saying. When you get an awareness, go and share your awareness with someone.
It's funny you mentioned that, because the other night I was sleeping and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I know there was an entity in my room, and I just go, who's that? What's that? And then it was my teammate, and it's the Kuan Yin. And I'm like, I know she has shown herself in the TTTE class, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? But I feel like I can talk to you like this, but I feel like I probably, people think I'm crazy when I talk to other people, and that's where.
And crazy people are looking for other crazy people. Go be crazy.
Yeah, so all of the decisions, judgments, computations, and conclusions, that all of this is too crazy to talk about. Will you destroy and uncreate that times again?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pet, pock, online shirts, boys, and beyonds. I'd like to ask if anyone on the phone has questions, because we can't see you. So sometimes it's like, hey, I need a little in. So this is your in. Do you have questions?
The 563 or 608 numbers, if you guys want to talk. Okay.
Going once, going twice. You're on mute if you're talking. Okay, cool.
Nelly, do you have a question, Nelly?
No. Okay, cool. We just see your little eyes over there. There we are. Yay! Good to see your whole beautiful face.
Awesome, awesome. Do you have anything else, Kathy, you want to add for people?
Oh, Nelly, you're off mute. Do you have anything?
My English is not good. I can understand, but for speaking it's a little bit difficult. But you can understand me?
Yes.
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 So, well, for me it's difficult to show me, because I live in a country that is not mine, and I know that is how to say that is judgment of myself about my speaking. So when I have the idea to make the conference, speaking, to talk about bars, but after that I say, oh my God, I don't speak well French, and so like that. So I have some débrayage, on dit en français, how to say in English, like.
En français, je peux traduire si tu veux.
Ah, super. Et oh, je savais pas moi. C'est tu sais, quand j'ai fait certains déblayages justement pour ma peur à parler en public. Je suis en train de faire ma page Facebook Pro et j'ai fait des petites publicités, etc. Mais je ne l'ai pas lancé, je n'ai pas fait encore les invitations à mes amis. Donc, j'ai dit, mais bon, voilà, qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse pour avoir cette impulsion et me lancer? Donc, j'ai beaucoup envie.
Nelly has created a Facebook page, like a professional Facebook page, and she has not shared it with anyone else. So she's wondering what is it going to take for her to throw herself out there and have everybody see her, right?
Yes.
So first of all, Nelly, where do you live? Où est-ce que tu vis?
Je vis à Montpellier.
Ah bon, ok. So, donc tu parles français alors?
Le français, espagnol, anglais, mais l'anglais très mal.
So she's in the south of France. So I would like to say to her that the national sport in France is called criticism. So that she has to unfriend and destroy everywhere, that she's at the effect of criticism. Donc le sport national en France, c'est la critique. Donc décréer et détruire partout où tu es, tu as l'impact de la critique dans ta vie. Et aussi, remember guys that judgment makes you money, right? So when you receive judgment, you make more money than when you don't receive judgment, then you tend to lose money. Donc si tu reçois le jugement, tu vas recevoir plus d'argent que si tu le rejettes, d'accord?
Okay.
That to your advantage, right? It really works, man. I bought a Mercedes-Benz and I posted it on Facebook and my business went because people were judging me as having money. Donc, j'ai acheté une Mercedes, je l'ai mis sur Facebook et tout d'un coup, pouf, mon business a éclaté parce que maintenant, les gens me disent comme si j'avais...
Super, je vais le faire.
So, find things that you want people to judge you on. Trouve des choses sur lesquelles tu veux que les gens te jugent. Est-ce qu'elle est trop belle? Est-ce qu'elle est trop gentille? Est-ce qu'elle est trop riche? Are you too beautiful? Are you too friendly? Are you too rich? Are you too good? Like, find those things that people could judge you on. It really works, man. Right, Kathy?
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm telling you, the French people, they're exploding and I can't wait to see where they create in the world.
How does it get any better?
How does it?
So any final questions?
D'autres questions? Okay. Kathy, do you wanna add any of your wisdom?
You know, I mean, we've emphasized again and again being the energy, being you, being the energy. I mean, just wake up in the morning as though you have a thriving business. Okay, Sophie mentioned fake it till you make it. And yet, you know, is my energy going to be different? I'm not going to fake it, but in this situations, is my energy going to be different if I'm wearing an old sweatshirt or if I'm wearing a beautiful dress? Will it be different? Will my energy be different if I'm dressed as though a client is coming today versus in my pajamas until 3 o'clock? Yeah, it will be different. And so start to be the energy of what you would like to create in the world. And I mean, one thing that really changed a lot for me is hearing a facilitator say when she was starting her practice, she wrote in her diary, her appointment book, amazing client, wonderful, fabulous client, really fun client. She wrote it all in pencil. And then when people signed up, she erased that and wrote Sophie, you know? And that actually changed so much for me. Doing that one thing, amazing client, seeing that in my appointment book. And I love having a paper one, by the way. I mean, I do it on Google Calendars, but paper is just so lovely to be able to see. Oh, amazing client. And amazing clients came in to fill those spots. And when I didn't have someone there, I could do something else.
Oh, I love that, Kathy. That's
Wow.
awesome.
That's awesome.
I actually want to show you guys something. So this is a little behind the scene little trick. So I'm one of these people who does stay in her pajamas until 3. So this is the story. When I watched a lot of like movies or behind the scenes about people doing talk shows, because you only see them to the waist, they usually have like jeans or, you know, lounge like yoga pants underneath, but they have a business jacket top, right? So I have like my pajama pants right now, but you guys don't see that. You only see the jacket because that's what that's what I'm showing. But that to me is actually being the energy of the talk show host, which by the way is one of my targets. Is I'd love to be a talk show host one day, right? So that matches the energy of what I'm creating. It actually is. And this week has been, oh my gosh, I'm living my dream life. Like I was realizing how much I have created, what it is that I wanted to create in my life. And so it does not always look like what you think it's going to look like. It's not because you're in your pajamas until 3 that you don't get the business. It's the business you're creating will be different than if you're, you know, wearing white robes all day. Like whatever it is, what is you is what's going to create what you want to have in your life.
That she brought up an amazing point too, that was kind of like, woo! And that is, start to acknowledge what you've already created. Okay, even if, you know, oh, 10 years ago I was doing this and that was really cool. Like, look how many people you helped then, and look at now, you know. And so, like, what have you created already in your life? You have a roof over your head. Oh, cool, I created that, right? Even if you think, well, really, it's my husband who pays the bills. Well, how much are you secretly contributing to that you don't want to acknowledge? You know, so start to acknowledge all those places that you've been unwilling to acknowledge. And the reason for that is acknowledgement creates. Acknowledgement creates. And so, and we call it acknowledging and actualizing. So if I had I have a radio show, so if I had a really cool conversation with Dane on my radio show, oh, cool, I created that. You know, what else can I create? How much more fun can I have on the show? And in other areas too, not just on the show. You know, we tend to compartmentalize, and instead it's like, okay, cool, I created that. Where else can I expand that energy in my life?
Yes. So Kathy, if people want to find you online, where do they find you?
Where do you find me? I was looking at all of that yesterday too, like, whoa, created a lot. So one place you can find me is on Imperfect Brilliance radio show every week. And you can subscribe via iTunes or whatever. But that's on the Inspired Choices Network. You can find me easily at accessconsciousness.com/Kathy Williams, and that Kathy has a K, Kathy. If you live in Chicago, Virginia, California, Sacramento, San Diego, or Toronto, or Maui, or near those places, or would like to travel those places, I'm doing classes in all those places coming up. And my personal website is that's Inside Out Transformation, iotransformation.com. And I would love to hear from you guys. You're free to text me, even to just say, hey, hi, I have this question. Texting is a little bit better than my funny email right now, and that is 808-268-8708. And I'd love to hear from you. In fact, I'm happy to have a little 20-minute chat about your burst business too, if you'd like to do that.
Nice.
How about you, Sophie?
Well, we talked a lot about acknowledgement today, and I actually starting tomorrow, if you don't know this yet, I am starting a 30 days of self-acknowledgement.
Yay!
It's going to be one video a day, and Nelly, c'est aussi en français. Donc
Tu peux répéter, je n'ai pas bien entendu ça.
30 jours de reconnaissance de soi. Je t'enverrai l'information.
Ah, super.
So yeah, if you want to join that, we're starting tomorrow. It's going to be via Facebook, but the videos will also be uploaded on YouTube. If you're not on Facebook, and we are going to acknowledge ourselves once a day for 30 days. So that's really fun. And I also, you can find me on Facebook. So don't text me. I don't really answer very quickly text, but I am on Facebook, and I'm also on email, but Sophie.Mihalko, Mihalko, @gmail.com. Or
I couldn't hear the information. Would you mind typing it in where was
you guys, I will be sending an email out with all this information, both Kathy and I, so you don't need to write it down.
Yay!
And also, everybody's going to get the replay, so no stress. But I want to thank you all, because thanks to you, my life is better. Every time somebody chooses to run bars, or somebody chooses to share the bars, I can tell somebody's letting go of a limitation or a point of view, and it just makes my life a lot easier. So thank you. I am really, truly grateful for you. And
Does it get any better than that? Thank you. Thank you all. And thank you for being the miracle you be, whether you acknowledge it or not. Life gets a little easier when you start to acknowledge it.
yes.
Thank you. Much better than before the meeting.
Woohoo! All right. So much fun to do.
Kathy.
Aloha.
Thanks.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.